large was the table of showbread? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Exodus on walking through the Bible.
Of his word, the glory of his cross.
If you have a Bible with you, turn to Exodus 37. We're going to be reading from verses 10 to 16. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Exodus 37, beginning at verse 10. He made the table of acacia wood. 2 cubits was its length, a cubit its width, and a cubit and a half its height. And he overlaid it with pure gold and made a molding of gold all around it. Also he made a frame of a handbreadth all around it, and made a molding of gold for the frame all around it. And he cast for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that were at its 4 legs. The rings were close to the frame as holders for the poles to bear the table. And he made the poles of acacia wood to bear the table, and overlaid them with gold. He made of pure gold the utensils which were on the table, its dishes, its cups, its bowls, and its pitchers for pouring. In this section of Exodus, we have the children of Israel actually making the tabernacle, following the instructions that we read of earlier in the book. As we said in previous episodes, we're going to review what we learned from chapters 25 through 31, following the readings of each section. We have already seen that the gifted artisans had made the tabernacle. They built the curtains of the tent first, which would in actuality include 4 coverings out of different materials that God had commanded. Following the building of the different coverings, they built the structure itself out of boards of acacia wood overlaid with gold. The structure was strengthened by using bars of acacia wood overlaid with gold. Inside the tabernacle, there would be 2 sections, the holy place and the most holy place. The 2 places would be separated by a veil made of fine woven linen with cherubim patterned in it. The tabernacle was completed with a screen on the front made of fine woven linen that would act as a door. In our last episode, we looked at the building of the Ark of the Covenant. We discussed the dimensions of the Ark and the materials it was built out of. To cover it, a mercy seat was built. The mercy seat had its own dimensions, had its own material, and 2 cherubs were placed, one on each side facing the other, to cover the mercy seat. God would meet Moses and later the high priest above the mercy seat. Moving now to the instructions we read of today, they were found in chapter 25, lesson 96 in this series. In verses 10 to 16, we have the table of the showbread being built. Now, we normally wouldn't think of a table as holy, but God had a specific purpose for this table, something we'll get to in a moment. Like the Ark of the Covenant, this table was made of acacia wood. It was 2 cubits in length, a cubit in width, and a cubit and a half in height. A cubit is 45.72 centimeters, or 1.5 feet, so the table's dimensions were 91.44 centimeters by 45.72 centimeters by 68.58 centimeters, or 3 feet by 1.5 feet by 2.25 feet. Also, like the Ark of the Covenant, the table was overlaid with pure gold. A molding of gold was made all around. This molding was about a handbreadth in size, a measure of 4 fingers, which is about 7.62 centimeters or 3 inches. Since it also was to be carried with staves, 4 rings of gold were placed on the 4 corners at its 4 legs. The rings were close to the frame so that it could be carried. The staves or poles were made of acacia wood that were overlaid with gold so that they could bear the table. All in all, the table here was very similar to the Ark of the Covenant in materials that were used, the fashioning of it, and the way it would be carried. If you wonder why God made these items transportable, let's remember the children of Israel were at Mount Sinai, and the journey to Canaan would be a long one. That necessitates that these items be taken with them, for they were going to be made before leaving Sinai. Now, I don't know about you, but carrying a table of that size overlaid with pure gold, and for that distance without a proper way of carrying it, would be tiresome indeed. Add to the fact that the children of Israel were told not to touch certain of the holy things lest they die, and we see that God's instructions here for transportation were not only practical, but they had a religious purpose as well. So we've discussed what this table was to be made of. Now, what was it for? It was the table for the showbread. Showbread means bread of the face or bread of the presence. We're not told what showbread is here, what it's made of, or what its purpose is. But we'll get to that in Leviticus 24, verses 5 to 9, so if you want to read ahead, you most certainly can, but we will save our comments on it till then. Along with the table, they also made utensils for the table of pure gold, these utensils being dishes, pans, pitchers, and bowls for pouring. With that, our time is up for today, Lord, when we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Exodus 37, verses 17 to 24, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time.
I'm not ashamed.
Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.
Of his cross.